Hello everyone. Today we are going to introduce the book Who Moved My Cheese. Through a simple allegory, this book explores how people react to change. The story takes place in a maze, which symbolizes life and the social environment, while the cheese represents the thing people pursue, such as a job, wealth, relationships, status, or an ideal life. The story features four main characters. They are Sniff and Scurry, the two little mice, Ham and Haw, the two little people. Every day they search for cheese in the maze. Eventually, they discover a massive stash of cheese at Cheese Station C, and begin living a comfortable, stable life. However, just as they get used to this lifestyle, an unexpected change occurs, and the four of them react in completely different ways.
Hi everyone, I'm Sniff. Between Scurry and me, my biggest strength is my ability to notice the slightest changes in our environment long before anyone else does. When we first found that massive pile of delicious cheese at Cheese Station C, everyone else was celebrating, assuming this good fortune would last forever. But Scurry and we didn't get carried away. Every single morning, the first thing we did was take off our running shoes, tie the laces together, and hang them around our necks. That way, if anything unexpected happened, we were ready to lace up and move immediately. While living a comfortable life, I never stopped observing. Before taking a bite, I would sniff the cheese, check the remaining amount, and inspect the surrounding walls. As time went on, my sharp nose picked up on a subtle shift. The edges of the cheese were getting dry, the smell was turning a bit sour, and the total supply was actually shrinking day by day. You see, in life, crises and problems usually show their signs early on, but most people choose to ignore these warnings because they are too blinded by temporary comfort. So, when that morning finally came and we found Cheese Station C completely empty, Scurry and I weren't surprised at all. We were prepared for the inevitable. To me, change is a natural part of life. If you can anticipate it and smell the change early, you can adapt ahead of time instead of being left in shock like the little people. Now, the old cheese is gone, but my nose is already catching a faint scent of a brand new kind of cheese, waiting deep inside the maze. It's time to move. Scurry, let's go!
Hello everyone, my name is Gary, and I am one of the characters in the book Who Moved My Cheese. I am a mouse with a simple and practical mindset. I don't spend much time worrying about problems or complaining when things change. Instead, I focus on taking action. At Cheese Station C, Steve and I noticed that the amount of cheese was becoming smaller over time. We paid attention to these changes and understood that the cheese supply might not last forever. One day, the cheese at Cheese Station C disappeared completely. Unlike Ham and Haw, I don't spend time asking why it happened or waiting for this cheese to come back. I accept the situation and understood that the old cheese was gone. So, Sniff and I immediately put on our running shoes and entered the maze to look for new cheese. We knew that if we wanted to find more cheese, we had to keep moving. As we searched through the maze, we encountered many dead ends and challenges. However, we continued exploring different paths and never stopped looking for new opportunities. Eventually, we discovered Cheese Station N, where we found a large supply of new cheese. By responding quickly to change and continuing to move forward, we were able to find a new source with cheese before the others.
I'm him. When I discovered that the cheese was gone, I feel very, very angry. I kept asking, who moved my cheese? I saw the whole situation was unfair. We had spent so much time finding the cheese, so why had it suddenly disappeared? I refused to accept what had happened. I was afraid to leave the place I was familiar with, and I was also afraid of the unknown situation in the mess. What if I couldn't find any new cheese? What if things turned out even worse than they are now? Because of these fears, I chose to stay where I was, and I wait, hoping that the cheese would somehow come back. Deep down, I knew that staying there would not solve the problem. But my fear kept me from taking the first step. Looking back, I realized that the biggest obstacle was not the mess itself. It was my unwillingness to accept change. Sometimes, when people hold on too tightly to the past, they miss the opportunities that lie ahead. That was my mistake, and I was so focused on what I had lost that I could not see what I might gain.
I'm Hao. When the cheese first disappeared, I was just like him, angry, afraid, and clinging to the familiar station for security. The maze was full of dead ends and anxiety, but by quieting my mind and shifting my focus inward, the noise of fear faded. I realized the biggest obstacle wasn't the maze, but my own fear. I wrote my insights on the walls. The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you find new cheese. When I brought back new cheese crumbs for him, he refused them. I understood that I couldn't change him. Everyone must face the unknown themselves. Eventually, I found Cheese Station N, filled with more cheese than I could ever imagine. But I learned my lesson. I now keep my running shoes around my neck, always ready for change. Change is unsettling, but taking that first step brings new possibilities.
In the end, Hall successfully finds Cheese Station N, where Sniff and Scurry have already arrived for a long time. This new supply of cheese is even more abundant than before, helping Hall fully understand the lesson of the story. Among the characters, Sniff represents those who keenly observe change. Scurry represents those who take swift action. Ham represents those who resist change. And Hall represents the majority of us, the journey from fear to personal growth. Through these four characters, the author shows us that when our environment changes, what truly matters is not complaining about what we have lost, but whether we can accept reality, adapt, and bravely seek out new opportunities. This is the core inspiration that Who Moved My Cheese aims to bring to its readers. Thank you for listening and wish you a wonderful summer vacation. Bye.